what made me start the podcast and what is my favorite podcast. Again, funny story, right? So I've written 2 books and published 2 books in the past, and I have tons of stories that I like to tell. And every night, when I'm putting myself to sleep, I'm telling myself another story in my head, and that's how I actually go to sleep at night. But my wife told me, she said, we ought to start a podcast. And I didn't even know what a podcast was. Honest to God, I didn't. And she explained it to me, and she said, you have all the stories and people love to hear them, and they would just eat it up. I think, we need to do this. Let's take a shot and do it. And so that's why we did it. And obviously she was, as usual, she was correct, and it has been a success, and we've been very blessed. And as far as listening to a podcast, on my honor, I've never listened to a podcast ever until I listened to 1096 Crime Chicks, who hosts Amy Derrick, and I began to correspond when we first started doing this after we released our first episode, and she helped us out a lot and gave us some tips and stuff. And other than hers, I have gone in and clicked on a couple of them just to see, but mainly to listening to their openings and stuff like that. But I don't listen to any other podcasts. I could tell you my wife listens to Dave Ramsey every day when she's driving to her teaching job. But that's it. And probably the reason I never listened to a true